Alright everybody, welcome to another Oblivion mod playthrough. It is I, Xilestar, and today we're going to be playing the Fight for Castle Ravenpride, I think is what its name is. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to mention something beforehand, before we get started with this mod, because we can actually choose when to start it. So first of all, we do not have the immersive first camera mod, because I actually had a bunch of frickin' issues. So, I just updated my Windows version. So, instead of running, I think it's, like 23H2, it's now 24H2. Unfortunately, that breaks OBSC, which means I have to load from OBSC now instead of Oblivion, which unfortunately means that I ran into a bunch of issues with this UI mod and a bunch of other stuff too. So, I went ahead and tried to troubleshoot with somebody else that I know that plays Oblivion modded, and we went through a whole bunch of other shenanigans, kind of think we were going bouncing ideas back and forth kind of thing. And so I just decided to, you know what, it's not recommended, or it wasn't recommended, to load Oblivion from the script extender, but I said, you know what, whatever, I'm grasping at straws here, let's just go do it. So I do it. It works. The UI is here. Why is this a thing? I don't know. But it is. It works now, so that's good. So another thing is that I went through all of the mods we went through before. Oh, I forgot to get rid of the gold. That's fine. I'll go do that really quick. That just means I have one more thing to get rid of. There we go. Alright. So, I went through all of the mods. As you can see, I went through every mod we've done on the channel, except for episode 2, because I already got the results for that, so I didn't need to worry about any of that nonsense. So these are the results of every fame, infamy, bounty we got, which doesn't really make much sense, but I decided to go bounty anyway, and the gold we received. Now, the fame and infamy is what I've obtained through this playthrough kind of thing. So I started off with 0, because, you know, that's what happens when you have this, right? See that my fame and infamy is 0? That's what happens. So I started off with this character, obviously 0 of everything, so that makes things 10 times easier for us. So as you can see, the fame and infamy of a lot of mods that are very old and not new kind of thing tend to not give you anything. Like Gaze to Asgard episode 1 and 2, or I think 2008 or 9 or something like that, so they're pretty old. I've just noticed this, like a lot of the older ones don't really give you anything, and a lot of the newer ones, like a lot of the older ones give you those, and a lot of the newer ones don't, which is very weird. So here's just a few kind of things that I wanted to mention here, okay? So 1, Bladesong and Knights of the Nine Revelation have question marks next to their numbers. These aren't from the mods, they're from what you require to do those mods. So Bladesong is the Ailswell quest, because you need to do it. The Knights of the Nine Revelation is because you have to do Knights of the Nine. That's self-explanatory, right? Those two ones, according to the wiki, I'm not going to go through those questions to make sure that it's actually correct, because they're not modded, so it doesn't really matter. These actually are the fame and infamy points that you would get from those, right? So the goal is accurate to what the videos are to that point, right? So as you can see, for the total 4, for the top, so for the fame, we would have technically 68. For infamy is 135. Now, technically, we can make this 0. Because if we were to do the 9 way shrines thing, this resets your infamy down to 0. But another thing that I can actually technically do is I can go through my mod and just change whatever. I can just use I think it's one of my way shrines just to quickly do it. It activates all 9 as if it's like yours kind of thing. So there's that too. Bounty, obviously this would be 0 because you don't get a bounty from these quests other than Serving the Dawn, but then again it just removes it, so there's that too. And gold, that's how much gold we should have technically. Yeah, pretty much. I went through all of these very quickly. I think for Heart of the Dead, I went with Cat's route because that's the one I'm more used to. What was the other one that I ended up doing too? Serving the Dawn, I went with what I went with for Farage, so that was fun. Serving the Dawn did something really weird where it gave me 3 extra infamy for some reason, but when I reloaded and just used the console to kill the enemies, I didn't get that 3 infamy. So I'm wondering if it's because I attacked somebody when they're supposed to be aggressive, and so it counted as an infamy point for me. Unsure. But yeah, other than that, I find that a lot of these mods are very misleading in what they could have done. So Heart of the Dead, you should have been given at least some fame, if at anything, because you destroyed an evil relic. You should have gotten at least some fame from that. And same thing with Shroud over Stalwart Manor. I'm actually very surprised about this one in particular, because you were falsely accused of murdering somebody, but yet you don't get anything out of it except for a free manor. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And Haunted House, weird. I mean, Haunted House is weird because, like, you could have, like, the Fighters Guild members would give you a fame point each. There's about, I think there's 5 of them. And I guess maybe the mage, so maybe 6 points might have been pretty cool. I'm not quite sure. Oubliette, debatable. Oubliette is debatable if it should be, if it should give you any fame, to be honest. Because who knew you were in the Oubliette? Like, you know what I mean? At least with Haunted House, you had Fighters Guild members that went with you during the entire journey, and it's like, oh, we're about to, you know, kill Circus or whatever, so we're gonna go do this, right? And, yeah, while I'm in Larada, I think I tried to see both routes to see what happens, and for some odd reason, you don't even get a fame for removing the dark power that Minlarada had, or even if you take it, you don't even get any infamy for taking it. It's really strange. In case you guys read episode 1, I kind of thought it might give you some fame. It didn't, and I was actually kind of surprised. So, the Dungeons of Evelon is a very interesting point. So, the 25 fame is if you destroy the crown. You get 10 fame for destroying the crown, or 15 fame for destroying the crown, and when you pick up the reward, you get an extra, you get whatever it is to become 25, right? So, it's either 10 or 15, right? At that given moment. But if for the infamy part is if you take the crown, you get the bonuses during the days. I think it's like 2 weeks, I think, or something like that in game. I don't know, I super sped time and then I got all of the rewards kind of thing, and that's what my infamy became, and I was like, okay, cool. Cool beans. Alright, so obviously, with that all done, let's go to the game. Alright. So, this is the save before I did any of the mods, so we only have the we got as much bare bones as much as possible. We have Knights of the Nine Revelation, so we can do all of the selling and all that stuff like we could before. I also kept Bladesong because Tess is a cool companion, and out of any other companion mod that I would have, Tess is obviously the best because she can auto-repair her stuff, as well as, I think, auto-recharge. I don't really think I need to use the recharge part. Anyway, so here's our character. It has a custom race as a Goldari. Now, it will have a description. I just gotta figure out how to word it for this so that would make sense in the Oblivion world space. But it has no extra skill bonuses, if that makes sense. So every race has like it has like 10 extra points in destruction. This race doesn't have that. Doesn't have that kind of stuff though. It's very generic with the attribute distribution. I think it's equal to what all the other races are, but it has some different caveats to it. I think male and female are identical, but there's two different versions. One's like an elven version of it, and this one obviously is the human version. But one way you can tell between the difference between the two, and this is actually kind of funny though, is the only way you can tell the difference between the two is the ears. This is the only difference you can tell. Because obviously, if you're an elf, you have the elven ears. If you don't, you obviously have human ears. And another thing is that the race also has a cool custom ability. So it has two custom active effects that actually are constantly active. So there's the magical side, which is more towards the elven bloodline, as you can see, elvish bloodline, and the human part, which is more physical, if that makes sense. Which is what I think resist disease is, yes. So both sides are very, very strong in their own way, but you gotta give and take kind of situation. So obviously for the elven bloodline, it's weaker on the human side because you have less of the elvish blood, because obviously you don't have the ears to represent that you're an elf, right? So obviously you're a little bit weak. But for the human side, you have better statistics for certain other aspects, right? And obviously no resist per out. So pretty much what I did is I took all 8 of the human-like races, technically 7, but I also counted Orc as well, but Orc has no physical characteristics towards this race, so that's pretty much there. So I took everything that made those races pretty powerful, and I took them, put them in a blender, and poured it, and saw what came out, pretty much. So what came out was that the Elvish bloodline for this became the same as what Breton would give you, kind of thing in terms of Fortify Magicka. Now, of course, these are not specifically tailor-made for the Dark King's armor, although I think I have tested it, and I think it works pretty okay, if I remember correctly. So that should be fine. But yeah, pretty much this is all of what we got. Also, before I continue onward and actually, start the mod, I want to show you guys something. I hope this mod actually is reinstalled. Because oh my god, I've been working on getting this whole entire thing done for 2 hours. There's Tess. Is there a book? See? So this is how we know that a book has been read. It'll have a little star. I think that's just a circle, but it's the little like star thing that's above 8 kind of thing. That's what it is above there. So that's how we'll know if we've read a book before. I've done it for every vanilla. All of the DLC books are all red. I kid you not, I literally moved every book into the tree stump and literally clicked on all of them by hand. I found a lot of the DLC books that I had randomly lying around in the DLC locations, and I used those. But of course, that also caused different issues. Anyway. Also, I found out something very interesting about Gareth, but we're just gonna start the mod. Because I don't want to spend too much time on this. Anyway, so I found something very funny about Gareth. If you make your character into a ghost... I don't know if I did this. I don't know if I did it. So I'm just gonna do it that way. Anyway. If you set yourself as a ghost, Gareth can still one-shot kill you. So I found out that was pretty fun to find out. Do I still have the bed?
Hey, you look just like your statue.
No, I don't.
The bed is...
Okay, so I still have the bed. Okay, good.
You too.
So you guys are going to be seeing between this mod playthrough and the next a different system of how I'm going to be doing my videos, kind of thing. Okay, so we're just going to wait till this is done then.
Please, forgive my unexpected appearance. Allow me to introduce myself. Aaron Dumond is my name, a nobleman, and bearer of a vast sorrow. Well, I have a rather lucrative offer for a hero of your reputation, with a very kingly reward. But what am I talking about? Of course, you might not be interested.
Of course I am. Go on.
You are? Such an honorable hero as you would be willing to help me, a meager, worried man as I am. I feel honored, my friend. Honored. So, if I might, tell you my tale of woe.
Please do.
I thank you. So please, listen carefully to what I have to say. I purchased some time ago a castle far in the north of Cyrodiil. It should be known to you as Castle Ravenpride. No? Then you might know it better as a prison. But those days are past. The prison is closed. I have bought the castle. Many peaceful and carefree years I spent there, till a bolt of disobedience struck my life in a manner most cruel. Myself and Verius Meradil here, my mage, were the only ones who managed to escape.
What has happened?
It was terrible. 'Twas 9 suns ago, when Castle Ravenpride was attacked by a band of thieves and their captain. They slaughtered everyone. Only we here managed to escape. Marius, my mage, held off as many as he could, until finally they were too many. I had never seen such horror. Surely you understand me. The anger is almost overwhelming. Anger for that Ray Deems, the captain of those thieves. Anger that he took everything from me. Everything I have built and strived for. All gone. Castle Ravenpride must be mine again. Do you understand me?
Yes, of course. Talk to the guards.
The guards? No. That would not be wise. They have enough problems of their own. The list begins with a dark brotherhood, and ends with a normal pilferage. No. The guards will refuse to help me. I know it.
Okay, I don't really... If you think so.
Do you honestly think I haven't tried the guards already? I did. I did. But they said they couldn't help. Maybe in a few months. Or years. It was foolhardy of me to report it to them. And he who does not correct his fault has already committed a second.
So you want me to help you?
The thought did cross my mind.